Hello there, my very good friends. Andy here for WhatCulture. Today we're talking about TNA because this company is in a pretty bloomin' interesting place heading into 2026. They've just secured their new TV deal, which means their revenue's going to go up, which means they're going to have more money to spend on wrestlers. Theoretically. You'd imagine that with their big AMC debut looming in early January, they will be looking to make something of a splash and maybe beef out their roster with some signings here and there. Some wrestlers who will improve maybe the in-ring caliber of the average TNA show. Maybe some big names who can help draw eyes to the product as they look to firmly establish a foothold in the top three American pro wrestling promotions. I think it's great for everybody involved that they've landed this TV deal because more places to work means more opportunity for wrestlers, gives you more choice as a viewer as well. And now that they've got all this extra cash lying around, they have the scope to expand and build on that roster. So what I've done today is I've put together a quick list of some wrestlers that I think could go over there tomorrow and make an immediate impact in that promotion and kind of help it boost its profile in 2026. So with that in mind, let's kick this thing off with entry number 6, who's Priscilla Kelly, who you may be more familiar with if you're a WWE fan as Gigi Dolan from NXT. Of course, she was released by WWE earlier this year. Her WWE run primarily comprised of Toxic Attraction, although she had the spell later on where she was aligned with Shotzi, who'd also be a good signing for TNA, by the way, and Tatum Paxley as well, who's obviously still there in WWE. The thing about Priscilla Kelly is that at the time she signed with WWE, she was considered not only one of the most improved wrestlers in the world, but one of the most exciting young prospects in North America. So it's a shame, really, that the WWE run didn't work out long term. However, now she's had the opportunity to get back on the indies and get back out there and re-establish herself in that regard. And I think she'd make a really good addition to the Knockouts division as a whole. She's got the TV experience now from working WWE for so long, NXT primarily, of course. She already had the skill and the in-ring ability and the versatility to do crazy hardcore matches as well as just your regular ass wrestling matches on TV. The Knockouts division has long been one of the biggest strong points of TNA in general. Why not add somebody like Priscilla Kelly, who I believe her best years are definitely still ahead of her in pro wrestling. Throw her in there. I think she'd be a great addition to an already pretty talented group. And look, it's all about raising your week-to-week standards, right? It's all about raising the floor as much as it is the ceiling. And I think Kelly would be a tremendous acquisition in that regard as well. Number 5, Kevin Blackwood. I think that TNA should be looking to the indies if they're looking to expand. There are some bigger names on this list that I'm talking about here as well, including one at the end who's very big, large gentleman indeed in terms of name and stature. But if you're going to go looking in the indies, I think you should pick up the best guy in the indies. And for me, that's Kevin Blackwood, who has been grinding at this for years and years and years and years. Fits in extremely well with the modern action-heavy style. I mean, his strikes are absolutely tremendous. Jaw-rattling kicks, forearms, and everything in between. But beyond that as well, I'm a particularly big fan of what he did around his recent Prestige World title win when he faced Judas Icarus and leaned really heavily into vegan straight edge, which is a huge part of who he is. Came down to blooming Earth Crisis Firestorm, for goodness sake, but they went as far, Prestige did, to build heat for this whole deal by Kevin Blackwood issuing a statement saying, "Hey fans, don't you dare eat meat and drink beer while I'm doing my wrestling match." Which of course is like what are the wrestling fans going to do in response to that, right? It's something that can really, an aspect of his personality that can really set him apart in wherever he goes. Obviously, we've seen, CM Punk kind of pioneered being a straight edge wrestler, and we've seen the vegan side of things with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, as the planet's champion in WWE. I mean, it's a really, really strong voice that can set people aside in wrestling. So not only is Kevin Blackwood, first of all, it's a travesty that this guy hasn't been signed yet. You watch an indie show that he's on, you're guaranteed something exciting and fun and high caliber. But, I mean, if you're TNA and you're looking to pick somebody up who has all the chops in the world and is long overdue getting an opportunity with a contract, for me, it's Kevin Blackwood. I'd throw him straight in the X division, probably have him win the belt, to be perfectly honest. I think he'd be a great pickup. The next person is somebody completely different. Number 4, Dakota Kai. When I say completely different, I mean somebody we know the quality of in terms of being on screen for a long period of time. She was in WWE for years and years and years. She was let go earlier this year, and she has not wrestled at the time of recording since then. So Dakota Kai is something of a known quality to most of you watching. That's why I differentiate the entries a little bit. But also, I've long thought that there is great potential within Dakota Kai to be the lead babyface of her division. She's just excellent at drawing sympathy in that position. Going back to her previous time wrestling around the world as Evie, to some of her time in WWE as well. Obviously, a lot of her time in WWE was spent being a heel, being that part of Damage Control, or her turn on Nixon Newell, Tegan Knox back in the day, which was just a tremendous bit of business. But yeah, I still think we haven't missed the boat on Dakota Kai yet, man. I still think that's within her. Obviously, she's had some injury troubles, over the years, and hey, maybe she's not the athlete she was before, who knows. Personally, haven't seen much evidence of any decline in her latter work in WWE. I think she'd be a great boon to the Knockouts division. She's potential, division leading standard wrestler. First of all, I think it's mental that Tony Khan hasn't been on the phone to try and get hold of her for AEW, but AEW could be their loss and TNA's gain in this situation. High hopes for Dakota Kai going into 2026. Hope she's still fired up for wrestling. Hope she still wants to do this because she's really good. And I think that if she jumped into TNA, she could be an immediate fixture, somebody the fans are already familiar with, and she has the potential to be a real standard bearer for that division in 2026. Number 3 is LeBron Cozone. Now, if you've not been paying super close, not even super close attention, just any kind of attention to the indie scene, DPW, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, may have gone a little bit over your head. So over the past couple of years, this promotion has really done just the best job of any company, I think, since peak Ring of Honor in the 2000s, of establishing itself as a company with a clear wrestling identity, with a self-contained almost universe of characters and stories and things that are built just kind of really simply but really effectively and really satisfyingly in a pro wrestling context. They keep their stories relatively straightforward, but they always deliver. And when you tune into a DPW show that you're going to get 2 to 2.5 hours, maybe 6 or 7 matches. None of them are going to overstay their welcome. All of it is going to be killer, no filler whatsoever. It's a great company with a wonderful ethos, and I'm going to be really sad when it shuts down later this month. But one of the guys who has been a real figurehead for this company throughout its many years, a guy they kind of not really plucked from obscurity, but took from a place where he wasn't particularly well known to where he is now seen as one of the best guys on the indies, is LeBron Cozone. He's the company's ace, in my opinion. Obviously, they have a lot of great wrestlers working there, from Kevin Blackwood to Trevor Lee to Hyan to Danny Luna to Adam Priest to Jake something. But for me, one of the most satisfying things watching DPW over the past few years has been the rise of LeBron Cozone. He is a tremendous pro wrestler. He's got good size for TV as well. You can put him in there with anybody and he will deliver a very good match indeed. And I think he is just waiting for that contract before he is sent to the very top of the pile in pro wrestling. I think even though he's in his 30s already, I think he still has all the potential in the world, and he's exactly the kind of guy. Look, if TNA wants to seem fresh, relevant, exciting, the place you can go to see these new stars as they are unearthed, it needs to pick up guys like LeBron Cozone. And I think for a lot of you watching, if they did sign him and you tuned into TNA and you saw him within a couple of weeks, he would be one of your new favorite wrestlers as well. So that's one of my picks for somebody that TNA should absolutely try and sign in 2026. Number 2 is Duke Hudson, a guy who's been very quiet since leaving WWE. Saw him wrestle earlier this year in the flesh for Pandemonium over WrestleMania weekend, which was fun. Just fun seeing him step out of the old Duke Hudson shell and into his new frame as Duke Hansen. He's a real untapped potential guy as far as I'm concerned. In terms of charisma, personality, being able to portray that on television, being able to fit a number of different roles, I thought his role in Chase U. He was a tremendous hot tag in particular, and really somebody that should be on major companies' radars. I think there's a lot you can do with a guy like that on your TV show. And to me, he just fits TNA like a glove as an all-round entertainer. So obviously there are sometimes factors into people's lives. Maybe there's good reasons they haven't gone elsewhere as of yet. But to me, yeah, I mean, this is the most obvious guy on the list, really, in terms of he could just show up and he could be a great character on your TV show from day one. He's a perfect sports entertainer. For me, it's a bit mental that WWE let go of him because, yeah, you know, maybe he's not going to headline WrestleMania one day, or maybe he is. Who knows? You don't know what people are capable of until you push them. But you need people. Not everybody needs to be Steve Austin, you know? You need people who are just wildly entertaining, have big personality, can play a number of different roles. And to me, Duke Hudson is that to a T. So he's not necessarily somebody that TNA might put on the show and immediately a million people I would watch. I'd be among that million if they did. But he would add so much value to that show at the top, bottom, middle of the card, wherever you presented him. And I think it's very silly that nobody has signed Duke as of yet. Number 1, Braun Strowman. Now, this man might just be done with wrestling. He's got a very successful cooking show, food show on the go at the moment on television, outdrawing some of the biggest wrestling shows around. Good for him. I love seeing people land on their feet. However, if you're TNA and you want a big name and you want a big dude to make a splash for your big debut on the new network, doesn't get much bigger than Braun Strowman, Adam Scherr, whatever he would wrestle as previously. WWE let him go again, which to me is a shame because I think he's still good, man. I think he's still a really good, effective monster powerhouse wrestler. Yeah, maybe, you know, when he runs around the ring these days, maybe he's not quite as fast and explosive as he used to be, but that's understandable. He's a big dude who used to do powerlifting. Of course his knees are thrashed, man. He's had a few injuries here and there as well that I'm sure have hurt him and stuff in the ring. But if Braun wants to wrestle again, I think that TNA is a great landing spot for him. He could be the main event monster guy in this company from day one. He is still very, very effective in that role. And I don't get all this nonsense either about how it's hard to book monsters in 2025. No, it's not, man. They squash people, they win, they look dominant, and then opposite them, you build up the person you want to beat them so that they look like a beast when they slay the beast. Then the monster goes away for a while, you rebuild, you wash, rinse, repeat. It has worked since the freaking 1920s or something. It can work still in 2025. I think that people are making things really overcomplicated when it comes to booking the big guys in the year of our big guy, 2026. Get Braun in, man. He would do a tremendous job. You could use him to enhance some of your smaller wrestlers. He's still very much got it. And also, he's a big name that people will be drawn to for your first show and hopefully thereafter as well. So, obviously, the long-term goal with signing these big names is that they then elevate the people who are already there, and then the people who are already there become stars in their own right. So your Leon Slaters and, you know, people like Mike Santana, who would benefit immensely from rubbing shoulders with these people. So, hey, look, that's my list. What's on your list? Who should be on TNA's shopping list in 2025 heading into 2026? Let me know in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.